Hello and welcome to Let's Like SEO. So the Verge's Nilay Patel sat down with Google's Sundar Pichai, and for an interview, it's a 40-minute long interview. If you can search on YouTube and you'll find it. I don't want to go through the whole interview. I watched the whole interview. For the most part, it offers absolutely nothing. But when it comes to search, that's where I'm most interested in, and that's where Pichai sort of gives us a glimpse behind the curtains and also sort of hides behind so-called data that's not mentioned. And I think this is gonna be, and I think this interview is in a way a little unfair because you're interviewing the CEO of a company that oversees not only search, but even though search is a big part of the business model, but it's overseeing ads, it's overseeing the financial department, it's overseeing the legal department, it's overseeing the marketing department, it's overseeing management, it's overseeing so many other, even the hardware department. You've got the pixel and everything, that Pichai is overlooking. And so most CEOs are not really caught up with the technical aspects of how the business works. What they're more interested in is how they can make money from what the business is doing. And so a lot of Pichai's focus, and he's a McKinsey guy, as I've said this many times, is for Google to make money. And so whenever decisions are made, it's for Google to make money. So Pichai is not really interested in whether I make money or your website makes money or an e-commerce store does make money. He does not care about that. He cares about Google making money. And so keep that in mind as I go through this interview and I tell you exactly what I think about what Pichai is saying and what you can expect from Google's future. And as always, guys, before I get into the video, I offer SEO services. There's a link in the description to my website. Go ahead. I offer a website audit service. You can buy that directly online. If you're looking for a consultation, you can book the consultation directly online and pay for it. But if you're looking for an SEO service, there's a link in the description to the Google Forms. Please fill the link that's in the Google Forms and not the contact us forms on my website, because usually that email kind of comes in weird. We're trying to fix the glitch, but many times that email doesn't even come in, and even if it comes in, it's cut up and it's sliced up in a way that can't make sense of it. So, use the Google Forms for now until we get the form on our site working correctly as it should. So now that I have that out of the way, let's just jump into the video. So Nilay Patel is the editor-in-chief of The Verge, and he interviewed Sundar Pichai, CEO of Google, at Google I/O. And the 40-minute long interview goes into a lot of stuff, so that's not just search. And to be fair, he shouldn't be asking Pichai these search-related questions because, as I said, Pichai doesn't really care about, and he shouldn't be concerned with how individual aspects of the search algorithm works. But because people have been asking these questions on Twitter and all these other places, they decided to ask Pichai these questions. Now, I also know that this guy was asking this question. Let's say his name is Nilay Patel. He doesn't really know much about search. He's not a search engine guy. He's a journalist, a tech journalist. So he has a broad overview of things. So he doesn't really know what questions are. These are not the questions I would be asking Pichai, but they decided to ask these questions. So the first thing is, so Nilay showed some of the headlines of how Google I/O's overview will kill the web and the publishing industry. So mainly he went over, he showed Pichai, what people are saying, that this AI overview is going to kill traffic to their sites. And what Pichai thinks about these comments about the traffic being killed to their sites. So Pichai said, and very tactically I must add, he said, I remain optimistic. I think users are looking for high quality content, meaning people who read AI overviews want to see more information from publishers. He even said, he's mainly saying is that, there is data to suggest that people will click on links that are shown within overview AI, but they don't reveal where that data is. They don't tell us where that data is. They don't show us that data. And so we don't know what data they're referencing. So it's kind of like you're referencing or you're talking about a source, but you're not revealing the source. And so when a business does this, it's really suspect. And so you can't really trust whether or not this is a lie. You can't say if it's a lie. You can't say if it's the truth. But I would maybe say that it's a half truth because I don't have any data. But if Google's overview AI provides a partial answer, then that is incentive for people to click on the links, which the AI overview offers. And in some cases, I've seen those partial answers, which doesn't mean that the person searching will then click on those links. Now, I don't know for sure. I haven't dug really deep into AI overviews, but later on, as we go into this, you will see that Pichai also kind of hints at this being what they're trying to do. So then Nilay brought up the House Fresh and Retro Dodo, small and independent publisher. Now, I made a video about House Fresh and how they got nailed really hard by Google. And I said that they shouldn't really invest a lot of time and effort trying to recover from the algorithmic hit. Now, Nilay specifically bought up these two websites because they're really hard, they were hit really hard, and they're independent publishers. And Pichai's response to the House Fresh and Retro Dodo controversy has been, he says, it's not clear to me if this is a uniform trend. I'll put the screenshot over here for you guys to see, for you guys to read. I have to look at data on an aggregate basis. So anecdotally, there are always times when people have come in an area and said, me as a specific site, I have done worse. But it's like an individual restaurant saying, I'm starting to see few customers this year. People have stopped eating food or whatever. It's not necessarily true. Some other restaurant might have opened next door that's doing very well, so it's tough to say. So what Pichai is saying is he doesn't know really about any of these sites, and he's saying that overall the data shows that websites are doing well. They're getting a lot of traffic, and so AI overview has not affected this traffic, and the algorithm update hasn't affected this traffic. Now, this is coming from a place where Pichai, I don't think he has seen the data, and I don't think he looks at the SERPs. So I'll take this answer for what it is. It's not very well informed, and it's not very well answered, because what he could have said is that the algorithm needs to be changed because we're trying to fight spam. Now, in the effort that we're making to try to fight spam, there are also sites that are not spammy that might be hit. And when that happens, our search team examines the data and tries to figure out what we can do so that these sites can resurface and they can recover for the penalty. But instead, he's gone this route. He's given us this analogy of a restaurant, which I don't buy at all, because a restaurant is a totally different thing. A website is an entirely different virtual element. You can't mix the two together. So then he says people are clicking off AI overviews to publishers, he said, but overall, when we look at user journeys, when you give context, it also exposes people to jump off points, and so they engage more. So this is what I said. So he's saying that mainly what we're going to do is we are offering half the answer, and for the other half of the answer, people will have to click on the links, and that will mean traffic for websites. So again, so I'm putting this up on the screen so you guys can read. Look at our journey even last year through the search generative experience, and I constantly found us prioritizing approaches that would send traffic while meeting user expectations. We think through that deeply, and we actually change our approach. If there are areas where we feel we haven't fully gotten it right, we are careful about rolling it out. But I think that's positively surprising us is that people engage more, and that will lead to more traffic over time for high quality content. And then he says there's also a debate about what high quality content is. At least in my experience, I value independent sources. I value smaller things. I want more authentic voices. I think those are important attributes that are constantly trying to improve. Now, this is not the definition that Google's algorithm has of high quality content, unfortunately. And this is where his ignorance of the algorithm comes in. And as a CEO, I'm going to say this again, he doesn't need to be aware of how the algorithm works. He's running the company. He doesn't need to be aware of that. That's not his thing. He's not a technical person. He probably doesn't even know about the different parts of the algorithm like an average SEO would know. And so if he's saying this because he's ignorant of how it works. And so he's saying, I want authentic voices, I want smaller things, whatever. All of these just don't matter to Google's algorithm. How do you define small? It's an arbitrary value. How do you define an independent source? Again, arbitrary value. How do you define an authentic voice? Arbitrary value. How can Google's algorithm identify a voice? Arbitrary value. Again, there are ways like auto rank and other algorithms that work into this and tie into this, but these are arbitrary values and these are arbitrary statements, so they have no value. And then about open AI overviews being answered and not driving traffic, Sundar said that if they do that, what incentive would there be for publishers to continue creating content? Google would need that content, and it's not in the best interest for Google to de-incentivize the creation of high-quality content. And I keep saying this, why would Google want to de-incentivize the creation of content? Because they're literally feeding off that content. But in their arms race to AI, that is what they're doing. They're doing exactly that. They're killing off independent quality content creation sites, and they're in fact encouraging sites that mass spam content. So what they're saying is that instead of having one site or two sites where you work really hard on creating high quality content for, you should have 50 sites where you're just stealing content of other sites and you're trying to rank. So out of the 50 sites, you'll be able to rank 10 sites, 12 sites. You'll make enough money to cover the expenses for all those sites, and you'll also have money to take home. And if Google favors your sites in the algorithm, you're going to literally make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And if the site gets nailed at some point, you just start up 50 more sites. So this is what AI overviews is incentivizing. This is what Google's algorithm has been incentivizing for quite a while. And I think this is something that Pichai is not aware of, again, because he's not part of the algorithm team. And then he asked about adding this to the Search Console, and Pichai just brushes them off. He says, we'll talk to the search team. This is up to them to add these clicks that come through Overview AI to Google Search Console as a separate tab or a separate reporting tool. But by and large, it is what it is. Pichai is not the person to be asking these kind of questions. What you shouldn't be asking Pichai is how much money they're making, what the future is of their stocks, what they have planned in the future to improve their stock value and to make more money and make their investors more money. That's more his thing, and not really the algorithm and search. And so a lot of people have been very kind of active about this on Twitter. They've been calling him out. They've been saying stuff. I don't really agree with any of the stuff that they're saying because he's not part of the algorithm team, and I don't think he even understands what the algorithm is doing. Yes, he is responsible for the algorithm in some ways because he is upper management, but at the end of the day, if it was Google's algorithm team manager or whatever they call it, if he was the person being interviewed, then I would want to have to ask these questions to him. But Pichai is just not the person who will be asking these questions. So let me know in the comments below if Pichai's answers were satisfactory, what you think Google is trying to do here. Like and subscribe as always, and I will see you in the next video.